recording. PodJack95. We've got Dean, my obviously hapkido trainer, my teacher. Well, at times when I actually go. I will let you introduce yourself. So you're third dan in hapkido, first dan in karate.
Yeah.
Very, very skilled from when I've seen you in the studio. What got you into your hapkido, your karate?
Where I first started was with judo back when I was about 12 years old. So I've done it from there. There's a brilliant instructor on the Lee Fields here. He sadly passed away earlier on in the year. His name was Alan Llewellyn, and he was a first dan black belt in judo. I spent 5 years with him when I first started in the martial arts. Yeah, brilliant teacher, a proper master. And I think he was ex-services as well and served in Japan. And he went to the dojos in Japan, and he was a really good judo instructor. Yeah, so that got me off the streets when I was hanging around on that sort of thing. Then when I got to there, what I was basically looking for was self-defense. And judo was the first martial art. Bruce Lee really hadn't come out to the world yet to put all martial arts on stage. So I had to start there. Yeah. So then I did it for self-defense, and I got into, as on the Lee Fields here, you do get into a few fights when you're younger. And I had a few run-ins, and it quickly became apparent to me that even though judo is a very good sport, in my particular instance, in fighting, it's had its limitations. Yeah,
so you need a bit more than what you get offered.
You'll probably get your face punched before you could get hold of somebody. So that's what the conclusion I come. I did get into one particular fight when I was young, and I thought it was a one-on-one, and I got the guy, threw him really great throw in there, put him on the floor, held him down, and then his mate who was watching decided to run in and kick me in the face.
Oh, that's just typical, isn't it? That happens.
Yeah, that was the turning point that made me think I need something else here, because when I was getting hit, and then me and a couple of mates decided to look for martial arts schools. So
was martial arts, was it popular then? Right.
I'm talking in the 70s. It was just getting going, because you think that Bruce Lee died when he was 70, in 73. But then the craze just went bananas after that, So it was kicking off, but it was mainly karate. There wasn't many kung fu schools. Because the Chinese were still not really opening their doors to do the ball. So that came later. So we looked for karate schools, which all of a sudden become very big. But we wanted to find somebody that was really quality. So we shopped around and went to various clubs, and some clubs were better than others, and some are much more brutal than others as well. We went to, it was actually advertised as a club, and it was a collective of martial arts fighters from karate that did competitions. So we went down to the Castle Hotel. It was upstairs in the Castle Hotel. Me and about 3 friends went there, and all we were cannon fodder for them to get ready for their competitions.
Yeah, so they just beat you.
Yeah, we went there about 6 weeks, and then everybody started getting broken fingers and black eyes. One guy got his leg. I said, I haven't seen this guy for a while. He said, he broke his leg the other week. I thought, I'm not doing this anymore.
Was that a point? Was it ever too brutal that it just made you think, I don't even want to do it at all?
That nearly changed my mind about it. Yeah, but then I shopped around then, and up at Mercian School, which is up the road from me here, there was a karate club that had been going for a while there, and a couple of guys that I knew on the estate said that that's where they go. So I proceeded to go there with my friend Andy Seedaus, who had done some Lagar Kung Fu, and he was very, very good. So we went there and met a guy called John Richards, who now he's an 6th dan, sorry. He's 6th dan now, I think.
It's a lot of practice to get up there, isn't it? That's
Well, when I met him, he was 2nd dan, and he just opened his school in Mercian. And he got about 30 to 50 students, and it was on twice a week. And I stayed with John on and off for over 18 years. He's such a good teacher. And then I ended up running one of his clubs here in Tamworth at the rugby club several years. So there was a group of us that used to run it. So I was not initially the instructor, there was three guys above me, and I was coming up through the ranks. And then various people, for social reasons, they fall off, or injury or whatever, and then the club got kind of handed down, and I ended up running it.
Oh, nice.
for about 5 or 6 years. That was in Tamworth, and that was a great experience.
Yeah. I suppose karate was quite popular as well. I remember when I was young, I didn't go for long, but every time I used to go karate with my mum, say, there was always so many people there, and it always seemed to me like a lot of people would do karate. It become a lot more popular.
Yeah, the thing with karate is you can if you're an instructor, you can virtually set it on automatic pilot, because if you remember, a lot of people, they all set out in rows, and then punches. So it's just monotonous break, punch, and you can set them off going and turning and coming back. You can walk away if you're an instructor and just leave them with your but then you can have a room of 50 people doing that, and that's a brilliant concept. And then you have your sparring and everything as well. But there is an aspect of it where it can actually almost run itself. That's good. But you have to have the right location, the right environment, and the right teacher. To be honest, John Richards was very, very good. He still is. He runs a massive club in Birmingham, by Snow Hill there, and I'm still in contact with him now. He's a great guy. I think I left him in 2000, about 2000, 2001, and I kind of retired from karate then.
Oh, okay.
And then there was a guy at work that was doing taekwondo, and he was looking. He was trying to get his black belt, and he was asking me tips on techniques, because they have to do some freestyle techniques. So I showed him a few things that we did at karate, and then week by week, when he was coming to work with me as a freelancer, we was ending up having a little dojang area in the office, because I could come over once a week, and I would show him some stuff, and it kind of kick-started me into getting back interested in it again.
Into another martial arts sort of thing. Is taekwondo and karate, is it similar in a way, or is it?
They say taekwondo is Korean karate. Basically. They're structured pretty much this on people would call me up on that, to be honest. That isn't technical. They both come from totally different kind of avenues, but they are both what we call linear techniques, which are like straight punching. Those sort of techniques. Whereas those are both, it's kind of rounded, circular motions. And you use it to. So they are pretty much related, and that's why they both do so well, because they both operate the same. You get you can still get that up and down movement with 30 students going up and down the room, kicking and punching, technique. And a lot of the techniques are very similar as well. There are different kicks in taekwondo. I think taekwondo has quite a few extra special quick kicks, I would say, compared to karate. But you can't underestimate the two. I never diss any martial arts. It's all useful. I'll take aspects of the karate and the judo that I've learned, take what I consider good bits of my physicality and my body, and I incorporate it in my own personal self-defense, which is not hapkido, but it's a mix of hapkido, karate, judo, which I've learned, and some jiu-jitsu. And that's for me. But when I teach hapkido, it's pure hapkido. The founder, that's something that he set up, and my teacher, this is the guy. This is the guy that started it all for hapkido. His name's Choi. So my teacher, Fred Adams in hapkido, sadly deceased now, who started it off in England, hapkido in England. He had a guy come and visit him from Korea, and he was actually trained by this guy.
Whoa.
And so he came and lived with Fred and taught him hapkido, and then Fred started off the whole organisation in Scotland, and he went all around the world with it, to be honest. So, that came later. I mean, we're still talking about karate now. So taekwondo and karate are very similar. Then where does karate come from? So obviously, if taekwondo is like a Korean version, you say it's not properly a Korean version of karate, but where does karate come from? That's Japan, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's a Japanese art. Started in the islands of Okinawa and spread through the whole of Japan. Very popular, of course. They took philosophies from China, which mainly Buddhist monks, and also there's an Indian connection as well to the whole start of martial arts.
Oh, okay.
There's an Indian monk called Bodhidharma who practiced self-defense, and also the Shaolin monks, of course. The way that it started off, they were just getting beaten up, robbed. Basically, the monks were, so they had to develop.
A way to defend themselves.
And so that's it's vague, but I think that the Indian monk Bodhidharma probably kick-started most some of that. There's lots of other origins as well, but China was mainly responsible for the development of martial arts. Yeah,
because a lot do come from over in that area, don't they? Really, it's like they're all similar, but they have a tiny twist on them. So that's like when they very first started, and they gradually moved through the years, however, hundreds of years probably.
Yeah, the development of fighting skills
slowly changed and gave it a different name.
And so in Japan as well, you had the samurai, which were they're like a fighting force, loyal to the various main leaders of provinces and ultimately to the emperor of Japan. So there was lots of in-fight and clan fighting there, where hand-to-hand combat was developed as well. Basically, there's a connection between hapkido, which is Korean, and aikido, which is Japanese.
So I was watching a few videos on that this morning. I watched a video of Steven Seagal. He was doing a video of aikido. That one was. He's throwing him around. It is so very similar.
Yeah, he was one of the first non-nationals in Japan. Like foreigner in Japan. So he opened up his own dojo there, his own dojo. And it was very rough because he had in the early days. I mean, he was a very slim guy, very tall, and as a Westerner, the Japanese, they didn't like the idea of a Westerner opening up a club. Quite a few what we call gunslingers would turn up every week or whatever to try and sort him out. But he held his ground and he kept the club going. So there's a lot of myths about Steven Seagal. I don't know what's true or whatever. Some say he was ex-CIA. But he's aikido. He's good.
Oh God, he's so skilled. There's like 4 blokes running at him, and he's just like he's almost breathing on them, and they're just falling onto the floor. It's crazy.
In martial arts, it happens in hapkido as well. When you're doing when people demonstrate it, it's not very. It's not true, authentic hapkido. It's not very dynamic to look. So things have been invented, I should say. Some of them are very acrobatic when they do a wrist lock or a throw. The guys go flying, and it's brilliant for a display.
For entertainment,
And these guys as well, some of the locks that are put on them, if they don't jump and fly through the air, they're broken. So they have to. He looks very good, but real authentic aikido, which you've experienced, he didn't do a lot of flying through. He did some throws, but he didn't do a lot of flying through the air. A lot of it's quite close contact, sort of. So it's not very attractive to look at, to be honest.
That's it. I see. When I was watching the video, you see him throw people through the air, which is all great. But then you can see when he does a real move, and one of the blokes on the floor is tapping because he looks like he's in pain, and that's when you can see real aikido in him, not just throwing around. When he's got him down, he's pinning him. The guy's tapping for his life almost. Oh God.
It is. I do like his aikido, and there are different variations of aikido, and some of it's quite passive, and which we see a lot of in this day and age. It's called a gentle art because you work with your partner. He wants to develop his skill, so there is a degree of going with your partner when you're being thrown. Where there isn't in hapkido. That's the main difference, because hapkido is a battlefield technique, as I would call it, which is more combat orientated. So that it isn't displayful, but it's very painful. So and a lot of it is to do with actually warfare of actually being on the battlefield. The infantry soldiers' life expectancy in those days was very short. So the more skilled you were with or without a sword,
the longer they were hoping to live.
Yeah, the longer you last.
Yeah.
And the theory is with ground combat in those days is that the generals would be up on the hills on their horses commanding the whole battle. Yeah. And if you as the opposing force would be attacking them. So you've got to win the battle, you've got to really take out the top man who's calling all the orders. So the infantry would have to try and pile through their infantry and cavalry to get to this guy. So they were very skilled in what they did, and hand-to-hand combat was just the quicker and shorter that you could break somebody down and get past them, and get on to the next person, the next person, the next person. If there are 1,000 people trying to do that to get to the commander-in-chief at the top of the hill, you've got to get through there to get to him to finish the battle. So, and look, it's very brutal. A lot of the stuff is done on the run as well. So it would be like if somebody kind of grabbed you or struck you, you would instantly do a wrist lock, break, and throw them on the floor. There was no rolling on the floor. There's the time you spent on the floor was very dangerous. You're very, you know, there are ways to get them up off the floor and carrying on. So
it's that finishing them off sort of thing, and then going to the next one, isn't it? And
you can't just hit somebody and hurt them. You've got to hit them and finish them. That's
stop them from getting back up and trying again, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's interesting because I have a guy that trains Aikido. He's actually an Aikido master that comes to my pub to he's realised that something has been taken out of Aikido. Same as it's been taken out of Judo. Well, Judo really. I'm trying to think of the art now. Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu was the main art, and Jigoro Kano is a guy that came along and took all the essences of Jiu-Jitsu and turned it into Judo. What's basically happening with Jiu-Jitsu is a very brutal form, similar to...
Well, you watch people in MMA, they're all Jiu-Jitsu trained usually, aren't they? And they're brutal blokes.
When you see somebody being thrown in Jiu-Jitsu, usually their arms are tied up so they can't break fall to save themselves. It's very much a combat sort of thing. So what was happening in Japan at the time, there's loads of people getting injured and, you know, breaking the shoulders, collarbone. So Jigoro Kano designed Judo to be something where you could train and build up your skills. And
without getting hurt so much.
So you can build an army without often being disabled. As such. That's how kind of Judo became what it is, and then it became the sport that it is. So things derive from that. And Aikido went up one path with a guy called Ashiba, a Japanese guy, and then Choi, who was from Korea, decided to go his way, and he stuck to the brutal basic rules, whereas Ashiba developed his Aikido into a softer, gentler art.
Like the Jiu-Jitsu and the Judo paths. One's brutal, one's softer.
Yeah. So Choi, who's the founder of Hapkido, he was a Korean, and Japan constantly invaded Korea. So we've got a long past of being overrun and ruled. Well, in this state of lockdown, when Korea was overrun by Japan, the Japanese took young lads back to Japan to train them up and have them as houseboys or servants, sort of thing. And the rumour is that Choi, he was taken to Japan in some form or other as to be a servant or houseboy. And he ended up being in a guy called Takeda Sakaku, who was a Akijutsu teacher. And his form was called Data Ryu, and he was a master swordsman. And he developed Akijutsu, which is a form of the sword being taken away and then breaking down to hand-to-hand combat. It emphasises sword techniques. Now, this is where both Hapkido and Aikido come from Data Ryu Akijutsu, which was the guy Takeda Sakaku. He taught Choi and he taught Ashiba. Ashiba went off and developed Aikido. Went off and developed Hapkido.
That's interesting.
That's the link. Well, it's never been officially accepted that Choi was in the household of Taekwondo, because the Japanese would not allow him on their books as a partaker of Akijutsu, because...
Is that because he was Korean?
Yeah, because he was Korean. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Apparently, Choi said that he had certification. He spent 30 years training with him and going around the world with him. And
but still nothing.
Never acknowledged.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's got the proof of being so skilled then that the certificate wouldn't need it, just show.
Yeah.
So you say your friend, this guy Fred, was it? He brought it over to. Did you meet him as well?
Oh God, I've trained with Fred. I think I got interested in this in about 2003, 2004.
So only a couple of years after karate.
Yeah.
After you finished karate.
Yeah, and this guy came, the Taekwondo guy came to work, and I was teaching him. Well, he reached his black belt, so I helped him attain his black belt. But then when he got there, he got disillusioned with the whole thing, and he wasn't being taught anymore by his sensei.
Oh, okay.
He got bored. So he said, I want to find something else. I said, well, I'm going to find something else. So after a while, he come back to me and he said, I've found something. Will you come and have a look at it? I said, well, I haven't trained for nearly 2 years now.
Yeah.
Well, just come down to London. There's a place called Tokai Dojang down there, and it's for Korean martial arts and also Japanese martial arts. There's a seminar on. Come and have a. I'm going to go in the seminar. Will you come with me? I said, yeah. He says, I want you to tell me if he's any good. If he's any good. I'm like, okay. So I'm a couple of days before. He says, oh, have you got your old kit? I said, well, yeah. He says, well, I'll bring it because you might want to come on the mat or something. I said, I doubt it very much. He said, but bring it anyway. Went. And I was in this, there was about 30 guys, and there was this little demonstration going on, and it was okay, normal martial arts class, I thought. Yeah. And then after we'd all warmed up, this, I wouldn't say he's a little guy, he's about 5'10", but he was 72 when I first met him. And he just had triple bypass surgery on the heart. So he just still come out of hospital, and then, well, I'm there rolling around on the mat, and I see this old guy come out with a yellow beaten jacket and a grey beard, glasses, and hunched over, and he's got an old pair of really worn out trousers on, and got an eagle on the back of his jacket, which was so faded, it was unbelievably faded. And then he come on the mat, which is a big no-no for a lot of dojangs. You come on the mat with your black socks on, And I'm lying on the floor and I see these black socks come past me. I think, what?
Was everyone shocked?
Yeah.
Believe what they were seeing.
Yeah. And then he went straight to the front of the class and he said, well, I'm Fred Adams. I've developed this and I'll be teaching all around the world. And then he decided to show us some stuff. And you're looking at him and he looks really frail and all that. Yeah. He gets hold of this guy's hands. 1, 2, 3. Bloke goes up in the air. Bang. And this guy don't look like he can pick up his shopping. He's like,
Yeah.
He's, and then I thought, this can't be going on. This can't be going on.
Yeah.
So we all had to team up. And then I was with this guy and he got me on the floor and he put this arm lock on. And then Fred tatted across and says, I'll show you what to do. He says, if you get hold of it like this, he says, move over. He says, and he got hold of my arm, which was like back on, lying on the floor, face down. And then Fred grabs my wrist and puts this lock on. I'd never felt I'd done karate for 18 years with John Richards, and I'd never felt a pain like that. I've been hit hard, but as a wrist lock, it's like your brain just got. And this was an old guy that did it. And this is the other thing about Hapkido. It's very sneaky. It's very sneaky. He says to this guy, he says, and if you want to be really cruel, he says, you twist it like that. He says, and the mouth opens and they scream like this. And I went, like that. And as I stood there, and he stuck his sock in his foot, in my mouth.
Oh, no.
On the floor.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely horrified. And then found out that Fred was so, I mean, that sounds ridiculous. But he was so full of these Korean tricks that are incorporated in hapkido. It's absolutely unbelievable. It doesn't follow any rules as such regarding Marcus of Queensberry rules, the proper way of doing things. There are pokes and scratches involved, which you could never have in a sport. It's definitely not a sport.
Yeah, we've gone through a few of them, haven't we?
Yeah, there are eye pokes, there are eye slices with a fingernail.
Yeah.
They use acupressure points, or your which is like in the joints here, in the throat, in the face. There's all sorts of acupressure points is a weird ball game that I never come across in the with any of the karate. And I thought, wow. And
did that automatically make you want to join and be a part of
I was hooked.
like that?
I was hooked. I spent it's probably like 5 hours on the mat with Fred and John, the guys that run it, and we got absolutely drained. And then we decided. Then they offered. They said, well, if you really want to do it as your first dan Shotokan black belts in karate, we'll offer you a coaching development course. So what we're going to do there is we'll show you hapkido and you'll learn the syllabus. And when you get about halfway up the syllabus, you can then open a club and start teaching as you're a dan grade.
Oh, okay.
But then you have to progress to dan grade.
Yeah.
You can start just to get some students in to start with. As we are dan grades, we were allowed to. It was kind of a little secret project that not even many people in this Hapkido Association were familiar with.
Yeah.
Because we got green belts on halfway through, and the uniform for anybody up to dan grade is a black gi.
Yeah.
But then we're green belts and we're wearing a white top, which is for a dan grade, and black trousers. So we had to kind of be hidden. There couldn't be any photographs of us sent out to the other clubs because nobody knew about this coaching development course. Because what he was doing, buying in fresh talent sort of thing from other martial arts.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And I spent so many years doing that and got my dan grade, then we opened the club properly, and then I moved on to open my club here in town.
Yeah, of course. So what dan are you now in hapkido?
It took a long time. It's no easy ride. It's like 3 years you'll get these, 3 years you get that. It doesn't work like that. The minimum time you can get a black belt is 3 years. Yeah. But it may take 5 years. First time it took me 5 years. Second time it took me, I think it was 2008, 2003 years. So I did the first dan, second dan, and third dan. So I'm third dan at the moment. Third dan is, I can't remember. But I'm third dan now, and I'm eligible to take my fourth dan. It was this year. It was supposed to be. I should have already had it by now, but with the coronavirus thing, everybody's up in the air. So it may be next year. It may be the end of this year. Maybe next year when I take it.
Is that just postponed until this is over and then you can go for it? Is that?
Yeah. Your first, you have to learn 100 techniques. From 0 to 100, and on the day of your grading, you have to remember every one, as it calls it. It's just pure memory. So there's your first 100, and then you do some extra techniques on top. And then the second dan, you have to learn another 100.
Yeah.
Okay. So that puts 200. Third dan, another 100.
Oh.
Yeah. But then fourth dan, 250. I have to learn this time.
Oh yeah, as well as the ones that you've already learned.
Yeah. So you build us all up through memory.
You must have a good memory.
I am struggling. Well, I'm getting old. I know I can't even remember where my glasses are, but then I've got to remember 250 techniques.
Oh, wow.
But this is the last time that a fourth dan will attempt 250 techniques in our association because they recognise it's too much to try and remember.
So they're changing it.
Yeah, they're taking 50 off the 250 and putting it on third dan. So third dan will be 150. And fourth dan,
200.
200. But I'm the last of the line, and I have to do 250.
You have to do it, yeah. What's the furthest you can go? What's the highest dan you can get to?
Well, once you've reached fourth, pretty much, I think my teacher, it's a guy called John Patterson in Norwich. We were training in Norwich, the black belts. He's sixth Dan. He was promoted by Fred when Fred died.
Oh, okay.
2012. He was promoted to sixth. And then Fred's son, Neil Adams, is also graded, and I think he's eighth Dan. So those are the two highest grade. I know there's a couple of fifth Dans down in the south of the country, Dorchester, I think. Those one fifth Dan. But mainly fourth Dans is pretty much as far as it goes.
Yeah.
From there, fourth Dan, I would probably have to run my own association and get recognised, and then you're giving it as an honour. It's honorary after fourth Dan. In most martial arts, once you reach fourth Dan after there, it's what you dedicate to the art.
Yeah.
So if you wrote a book,
what you're giving them back after what you've done, kind of.
Yeah. So it's given as a recognisory sort of thing. Like I was telling you, the guy that trains with me, Mark Peckett, he was a third Dan Aikidoist.
Yeah.
And he's been training with me in hapkido. He's been training Aikido so many years that he's just been recognised and upgraded for his association, and he's now a fifth Dan. So,
nice.
Which is kind of a weird situation really now. I've got a fifth Dan coming to train with me and learn from me. Yeah. And third Dan. Which is kind of, but the arts are different, and we love interchanging the two arts to see he does things the way we do things. It's a good enlightener for us.
Yeah, it's better it's good for the people that train with you as well, because they get to see two different aspects of two different martial arts almost as well. Don't they? His way on it and another person your way.
Sometimes when I do something, he says, "Well, that's missing from my art because we only get this far with this move, and then you do that. So we go this way, you go that way," and you say, "Wow!" And he's like, switch on. And then other times he can give me insight onto the way that they move their feet and the way that hip movements move and which direction they would go as opposed to us, and I'd take that on board as well. I've kind of done that all the way through my career. I take what's good for me or for students. So sometimes some students have difficulty learning one way, so you have to take them a different way.
Improvising, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
How many times a week, when you were getting to where you are now, would you have trained? What's the most you would have trained a week? I was reading when you said about taking 3 times a year. I had a little read up before we come on, and it said about 3 times a week to get to your black belt in 3 years. And that's a lot of training.
Yeah. Well, we did it twice a week, and then we would train Saturday mornings. That was when I was going up for my first Dan. So I would do three days a week in the first 3 years. I did that, and then once I got past first Dan, then it became twice a week. And now, unfortunately, it's I can only open the club once a week. But what I do there, instead of having like a karate class, would have a 1 hour class for a certain amount of money. I do a 2 hour class. So the good thing about that is as well, whereas you learn a little bit of karate and then you go home, and then 2 days later you come and learn a little bit more. There's gaps where you forget what you've just learned. You know? Well, with me, I'll give you a 2 hour sort of
all in one.
Yeah,
that's what we used to do.
Yeah, so you don't get that break in the middle where you got to stop and start again. It goes straight through. So that's the way I've kind of got around the two nights a week, and it's purely down to the size of the class that I teach, because it's very personal, one-to-one training. And I couldn't actually do a room full of 30 people. I would have to be going around like the clappers and probably have
of course
2 or 3 spotters like Les, who's just attained his black belt with us. He would be a spotter and sort of sort people out. I could do. I would say that 15 or 16 people in one class is the limit that you could do with hapkido. Because they're all getting thrown around, and there's a lot in the technique that you have to keep your eye on, and it's very controlled. So I'm never going to have a big class. It's always going to be one-to-one. And then with people with financial burdens, social burdens, commitments, people come and go these days. So the class is never, he's never going to make a load of money. It's always going to be. I'm a kind of traditionalist where most true martial arts masters, they never make a lot of money. They do it for the art, as they say. The people that are money makers, the pyramid sellers of it, which is very much inside and some karate. I'm very much a traditionalist where I just want to impart the knowledge fully to someone that wants to take it in. Create a martial artist, not a load of robots sort of thing.
That's it. And creating martial artists, you say, like you just spoke about Les just getting his black belt. Have you been with him since day one, or?
No. Les came to me 2011 when I opened. 2012 when I opened my club. Fields here. He was a victim of being mugged. I think he was about 70, 72 when I first met him. His son was working with me and asked me about hapkido, and I told him about it. And then he said, "Show me some." So I showed him, and then we started training at work. He said, "Well, why don't you open a club in Tamworth?" I said, "Well, I could do." He says, "Well, I'll be your first student." So he said, "Oh, okay." So we trained at home here. I had a mattress in the back garden here. I used to throw him on the mattress and throw him all over the place in the garden. His name was Chris, which was Les's son. And I was training with him, and I was about to open the club. And he started training with me at the rugby club. And then he said, I'm not coming tonight because my father has been assaulted. He lived over in Birmingham. And he was coming home from work. And he did a little bit of part-time work. And he was set upon by 3 youths, and they chased him. He ran, but he wasn't very fit, and they legged him over, kicked him on the floor, dragged him in the mud, tried to get money off him, and he hadn't got any money. And he said, no. And they left him in a pool of water on the side of the road. He managed to get home, and then he just caved in and became a recluse. And Chris, who was training with me, said, "I don't know what to do. My dad." I said, "Well, does he come and visit you?" I said, "Well, I could go and get him." And said, "Well, bring him to your house and we'll show him some hapkido." He said, "I don't think he'd be interested in it. He's in his 70s. And to be fair, when we got into Chris's lounge and started doing a few things, he kind of mildly interested. But then when I did a few things and he started laughing with Chris, jumping up in air in pain and stuff like that. And then he started to get, watching the intricacies of it. He came over and I said, "Well, it's easy." And I just touched his hands and just did a technique and just like that. And he said, "What, like this?" Or like that. So we had an afternoon of like a little bit of a showcase in his lab. And he went away. He said, "You need to try this." "Oh, I don't know. And then he came and he watched. And I don't like anybody watching. I got to join in. So I did a few techniques, and he's saying, "Oh, I can't see how that really works." And I said, "Well, come here." And I grabbed him and got his shoes, socks off, got him on that. He loved it. 2011, he came. 2012, come and join me, and he's been with me all the way through. The problems with age is memory, as I'm starting. And he always struggled remembering things. But if he over that time, from 2012 to 2019, 7 years. He completed the whole syllabus from 0 to 100 for his first dan. And then he was stuck there. But the thing is, you have to have the memory on the day to remember 100 techniques, and it's hard. And Les was never going to have that capacity of memory, because I could show him a technique and he could do it. I would remind him of a technique, he would do it. But for him to remember 1 to 100 on the day, he could never do it. So he stayed with that point.
Would there be pressure as well whilst doing it? Because obviously there's going to be someone watching for you to get your 100. So the pressure won't help either, will it?
No, the master's there, and he just calls out the sentence of the technique, and you're supposed to remember what the sentence means. And the technique can be quite long and hard and intricate, and some of the techniques are very similar to others, so it's easy to get it wrong. But he completed the whole of the syllabus, and I thought, well, that's it. He got to brown and black tab, which is as close to black belt as you can get. And over time served, the governing body came and seen me because I wouldn't put him up to be a black belt because I know he wouldn't complete that day. Yeah. But they came to me and says, well, he knows all the techniques, and I explained that he's now he's 77, something like that, and it is getting a little bit difficult. He's got a few injuries as well, with age, knees and stuff. Yeah. And all
them wristbands and everything like that. I bet that don't help him with it.
Yeah. You have to be careful with him, but he's quite for a guy of his age. He's quite strong as well. There's certain techniques that he's terrible at, but there's other techniques that he's so good at for his size and weight to take a big block down with a wrist lock. Well, he's so strong. So they came to me and said, well, can he do the whole syllabus? I said, he could do the whole syllabus. If I just prompted it, he would probably be able to do it. So they monitored him over a period of 6 months, and I showed them that he could do every chunk of the syllabus. And then he said, well, will he be able to take his Dan grade syllabus? I said, yeah, he'd be able to do that. He says, well, if he's able to do, we've seen that he can do the whole of the syllabus. If he can do that last section, we'll give him an honorary degree. And Les knew nothing about it, nothing at all. And I just said, there was a grading coming up. And I says, I want you in on the grading. And John wants to see you. And that was it. He just turned up with his kit. I've been training him in that last section. And he did it absolutely brilliantly.
And nice. Then, I bet he was well chuffed.
Yeah, and I turned up with a big certificate for him, the proper Dan grade certificate. And next thing you know, one of the guys says, oh, you should tell the newspaper, because it's quite a big thing. So I told a guy at the Tamatero, I didn't think anything of it. And then they hot-footed it off to Les to interview him. And it was picked up in the Tamworth Herald. And that's the...
I remember seeing that, actually,
So it was all about his story of how he got to be Dan grade. But then the bad thing, he'd done the interview, right? And then he went viral. He went absolutely...
Oh, really?
Yeah. They started... Because he wouldn't give his phone number out, I give the Tamworth Herald guy his phone number to contact him. And then he did that really nice article. But then next thing you know, I'm getting phone calls left, right and centre from ITV, Daily Mail, the Times, all sorts of the Sun. They're chasing me for his phone number, and I won't give it him because I phoned him up and said, these guys are interested. I'm not interested.
No.
I don't want all that. It really put him down. And they're saying it's such a great story, that he went from rags to riches sort of thing. And but he wouldn't have none of it.
No, it's his story anyway. He wants to keep his story to himself, doesn't he, really?
I was sitting in Spain on holiday, and these reporters were phoning me up, can you give me Les's number? And I was saying no.
No, that's funny. Interrupting your holiday to get a Les on. That's like, obviously going away, because obviously all these martial arts come from different places. Have you ever been out to Japan, Korea, China, or ever thought about it?
I would love to, but I've never had those experiences. All my experiences come from people that have been to those places.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
As far as just recently, I've tried to get out more myself, and I've done a seminar for an Aikido class. So they've never seen hapkido. So I went over to Erdington, and they had an open day, an anniversary. It's like 7 Aikido clubs all come to one club, and I was the guest. I got a little mention down here, surprise guest, and I come on and I've done an hour's hapkido, and they thought it was brilliant. That's the first time I took my skills and showed other people what I do.
It's just like how you figured it out yourself, though, isn't it? It's like when you went to London and there was a seminar for it there. So it's going again. It's how to get more people into it, because some people, like when I speak about it or what I've done, they're not very familiar with it.
No, it's very not very well known at all. No. In America, it's big. It's very big. But here, no.
Yeah, I'd like to go over to where it come from. I'd like to go and just see.
I would love to. Yeah. But,
see if it's any different or anything like that, or the way they do it, or I don't know.
Yeah. I would imagine they'll be a bit more brutal.
Oh God, yeah. Well, when I have to explain it to people, I just kind of explain that you throw them, but it's about finishing them off. So like, if you want to hurt, it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna tap them, probably gonna scream.
Like in Aikido, when you throw someone, you throw them away, and they roll.
Yeah.
And they come back. In Hapkido, you throw them, but you don't let go.
Yeah, you keep. That's exactly how I explain. You just keep hold of someone, and then you hurt them.
Yeah, you keep hold of them and do the wrist locks.
Yeah. And then I use the classic line what you did. If you want to be even more cruel, you go to and you do something else, and they're like, "Oh God, that sounds horrible." Oh yeah, come on down. It's good fun.
I've had all that done on me by Fred and John and Neil as I was coming up through the ranks, and it is weird. But then I've developed some of my own as well, which is quite weird, because like this interaction with Mark, who's at Aikido, where you do get to certain points, and I think, well, what about if I turn this way, or if I did this, or I put a finger and did this, and we come out with some astounding sort of stuff.
Well, I suppose that's how other things come about as well, just experimenting certain moves and adding a different finisher to a different starter. Or
what Fred and Neil always said to me, the founders in this country, you get to downgrade, it's like your cycling proficiency. You kind of you've reached the
got there, yeah.
Then when you get there, you start teaching. That's good into second dan. But then when you come after second dan, all of a sudden your mind goes in a different direction. You start creating things.
Yeah.
You start freestyling, which is it's just another level. I think. And you can get and then you look at other people's stature and anatomy and capabilities. You can adapt the art to their physicality.
What they're like, yeah, that's it.
Like if they have trouble throwing somebody, or they got a bad knee, then you work on the leg. Or if they have a hand that they can't use very well, then you use the other hand, but throw a different way. So
that's it. It's kind of like it's something that no matter who you are or whether you've got a bad whatever body part, you can do it. There's always a way. Yeah, it doesn't matter how big the person is and how little the person is, you can still.
Yeah, like we teach like if your fingers got damaged, broken, you can make a fist. So that hand's it's inoperable. But if you use your wrist, you fight without using your fist. You can use your wrist. So it's an adaptation from injuries, sort of thing. And that's about technique. I think they're really clever, and I've never seen anything like that in any other martial arts.
No, I've never ever seen anything, and I think a lot of people probably haven't until they get down there, experience it for themselves. Yeah. Then they realise what it's all about.
Yeah. When you get picked up off the floor by your face, by your acupressure points behind the ears, in the ear, it's a whole different ball game to any. It's very in depth, and it's quite a science. And Fred always used to call it. The founder used to call it. He used to call it. What is it? Scientific violence.
Using them parts of the body that no one ever uses, the pressure points and stuff.
Yeah,
to create violence.
Yeah. We're not doing a sport. It's not to win a trophy. It's to save your life or your family's life. So it's a life and death situation. And in that situation, you would do anything. So anything's on the cards. But you just have to be careful in class because some of the stuff is really painful. And
it is. Yeah. So it's like go on, what was I going to say?
The body system of tapping when we put a wrist lock on. If you put one on too hard, you'll just break the wrist. Where you'll tap or shout to make you instantly drop. Because otherwise, the pressure's on and the bone's broke. So.
Have you ever had a bad experience doing it? Like, have you ever had any bones or seen any bones broke?
No. The only thing I've seen more in karate through people being out of control, flying kicks. I had a student that I put in for a grading, and this other student, not from my club, did a spinning back kick with a heel and hit him straight in the cheek, which he was supposed to be semi-contact, not even supposed to touch space. And he clapped his cheek inside his face. I seen that collapsed. And I was horrified, this guy. And he was only taking his second belt or whatever. And the guy didn't even get really penalised that much. And my guy didn't even get his grade. He was off to hospital. I found it quite unfair at the time. That's a long time ago. But as far as hapkido goes, with the control that you do get the odd injury. But the worst one that I had is a wrist twist, which kind of lifts you off the floor here. It puts a lot of torque down through here. I think John, my instructor, he was showing the class and I was the Yuki. So he got this on, and he got it on a little bit too long. And then he does a cut through here with his hand like this. Yeah. And you're supposed to ease off a little bit. But he didn't.
You go full throttle.
Yeah. And I got a tear through, actually it was on this arm. It's a tear through the ligaments here. So if I put my hand up here, if I'm scratching my head or my eye too long here, I get cramp in my bicep even today, and I have to straighten my arm out and get a rub because the injury's still there. It never went. And then
I think you have to expect that from doing that, though, don't you?
Yeah, sooner or later, with the intensity of the techniques, there will be an injury at some point. Yeah. Try and push them on me. I'm all right, really. But.
That's it. When I used to come and do it, sometimes you get a bit of a thrill from being nearly broken in half, and you're like, oh, you want to do it again?
Yeah. There's a guy called Joey who's he's a forensic expert from the police. He's training with us, and he's a sucker for it. He just when he sees a good technique. Say if I did a technique on you in class, and you're jumping about, and you go, oh, jeez, that hurts, you know. Joey would straight away go, I want to feel that. On me. And everybody go, no, Joey, don't. And then they do, you know. So,
that's funny.
Because he's that eager to learn about it.
Yeah, that's what it is for me. Like, to learn about it, you need to feel it first. So.
And the other thing that I was saying about all the martial arts are very dynamic. This isn't, you can't see what's really happening because the moves are so subtle. So when you see somebody just kind of like that and this guy jumps up in the air, you just think, oh, what did he do?
Yeah.
You show me how you did that, because a lot of the stuff is very subtle in acupressure areas and quite painful. And it looks like you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Yeah.
Well, that's like pressure. Some people, I don't know if they understand pressure points as well as they should, but pressure points can really hurt even just by being pushed a little bit too hard. Yeah. Even though it might only be like obviously here is if you push it, it's too hard. But there's other places where you might think nothing, but you push
down the front of here, in here as well. There are so many parts on the way. Two in the neck here, behind the those sort of, this is on the face at the front here. Back of the ear.
Back of the ears. One of the ones I remember, grab the back of the ears and scream down there.
Oh yeah,
that's one. That one is just ow. Have you ever had to use anything like this out in the wild, shall we say?
The hapkido, no. But back in the days when I was, say, a green belt karate coming up through the ranks, I used it a few times. I was a mobile DJ for a long time, and coming back late at night, you often run into drunks and stuff. People who want to fight, sort of thing. So, I got into a big fight at Glasgow Road petrol station once.
That's pretty much down the road from me. It's right around the corner.
Yeah. On the forecourt there's about me and my roadie coming back from doing a gig, and then we was trying to get paid for the petrol. These guys were hanging around, causing trouble basically. One spat on a girl and sort of was in front in the queue, sort of thing. And then I was a bit offish with them, to be honest, because I was a bit brash. So I just they didn't like me, to be honest. I was walking back to my car and my roadie was coming out towards me, and then they all just, three of them decided to rush us, and they were trying to get at me. So I did a judo throw, put him on the floor, held him down, punched him a few times in the groin. And then as I started to get up, I realised that he hadn't finished, and he wanted to get off the floor and really do me. And I was trying to get off the floor, and I was trying to stand up. I told him, that's enough, sort of thing, but he wouldn't have enough, so I thought I'd better finish it, because his two mates were keen up to do me as well. I pulled his arm up into an arm lock and just kicked straight through his ribs, and then he was through the floor, and then his two mates kind of thought differently about it, And then I had to play the innocent victim then to the crowd that was watching, and the guy that was about to phone the police from the kiosk there.
Yeah.
I had to say, here I am, I just come up to get some petrol, and I get jumped on like this. And so all that, I got in my car and got home, and then the bad thing about it, I was up at the window then until about 3 in the morning looking for the police to
see if anyone. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but all the time, probably half a dozen times I've ever had to use it.
Yeah.
And that was karate.
Yeah.
But hapkido, no.
No one's going to want to mess when they know.
I've yet to have that pleasure.
Yeah, oh God. They'll know when it's coming.
Please grab me.
Yeah. That's what we're asking. When this goes out, we're asking now, if you see Dean in the street, grab him.
Yeah, just grab me, please.
And then when you've grabbed them and done them over and they're on the floor and they're crying, you can then advertise your club.
Yeah. Give me a card.
Yeah, give him a card, leave a card on his chest. It's like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
But so you were not just a master of hapkido and of karate, you're also a DJ as well. Yeah,
I've always kind of been involved in. I've had kind of a two-tiered kind of career dream. One to be a martial artist, which I have almost achieved to get to. What I would call a master grade, which I haven't achieved yet, which I'm still going. But you're always a student with.
Oh, you can always go the next step, can't you?
Yeah. Enlightenment is the key. But then I always had a penchant for music from when I had two older brothers, and one of them was interested in ska music, and he collected a lot of reggae and ska. When I was a child, and when he went out, I would go and play all his tunes. So raid his bedroom,
get the good ones.
So I had a good knowledge there, and then as I grew up, I started to dance quite a lot. The Northern Soul scene was just dying out as I was growing up, so I got a bit involved in that a little bit. But then funk dancing and then disco came along and stuff like that. Jazz funk I was interested in. So I did a lot.
I love jazz funk. I
did a lot of dancing around clubs, sort of thing. And then I run into a guy that was a DJ, and I noticed that he got a couple of roadies with him that was happening, pump the gear in and out. And I thought, wouldn't mind having a go at that, being a DJ. So I started helping this guy. Got about $5 a night or something like that to help him. Speakers, massive speakers. And then there was a guy that was running an organisation of DJs. He'd set DJs up. He'd supply the equipment, and then you'd have to buy your records, and then you go out on your own and pay him a little bit as well. Each that you gave him a percentage. So I'd agreed to do that with him, and so I started doing mobile DJing. I did that quite a few years, all around Tampa and Birmingham. So that was the music interest there. And then when I finally gave that up, lo and behold, somebody was trying to start a radio station in Tamworth. A guy called Paul Pierce was his name, and he started in the old cinema, a thing called Palace FM. So we tried to get a license to actually broadcast full-time, a legitimate radio station. We did a 3-month RSL, which is like a trial. And at the end of that trial, they say whether you can be a radio station or not. Oh, we did it. And then we renamed ourselves Centre FM. And so I was DJing on there late at night. I got the graveyard shift. I think from 10 till 1 in the morning. So, no, 1 till 6 in the morning. 1 till 6 in the morning. And started up. So I was doing that and playing funk and soul and sort of stuff like that. Just anything. Had guests in, and it was operated at the old cinema there. And then Central Newspapers, or whatever it is, decided to buy us, and then sacked everybody. And then they said you can reapply for your job if you want to. So so they pretty much got in there, and they carried on with the name Centre FM. They opened new studios up in Gungate. I think Dance Academy now, where the old bus station used to be. It was upstairs there above the solicitors. It was down there. So we went in there. I had to reapply for a job, and I actually got the job. So then I actually got a paid job where I was volunteer before.
Was you before? Oh.
Yeah, I did one night a week or something like that in there, and then as various people got sacked, but for not competing, they got newer people in or whatever, or they had a shift around. This guy brought me in and he said, well, this guy's been sacked, can you do that show? I said, yeah, I'll do that show. So I did his show. Then said, this guy's been sacked, can you do his show? So I go and do that show. So I've done things from Love Zone in the early hours of the morning to Saturday night disco sort of things. And
that one sounds good.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff like that. So I kind of had various jobs in the place. Some of them were, the guys all there were full-time, but I was like brought in as a part-timer just to fill in. So I did that for about 2.5 years. And then I got the sack.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because what it is, because on radar figures and how well your show's doing, my show was doing really well. But then they decided that it could be better, so they decided to get another guy in with the like, funk and stuff. And they thought he'd be better than me, but he wasn't. But, you know, yeah. And then when you get into a thing like that, if you're in, it's great. But once you're out, you're pretty much out. It's very hard to get back in.
Yeah.
So that finished 2.5 year career there. I did enjoy it. It was good fun. But then I bumped into a guy that was doing internet radio. Nobody had heard of it. Internet streaming internet radio into people's houses as a radio station. Pretty common now. But it was groundbreaking at the time. And it was a thing called streamingradio.com internet thing out at Kerborough Farm. It's built a studio and we were in there. So just a little box room and just play your records sort of thing. And it was also called Rather Good Radio as well. And it went around the world. That was a good thing. The first time, you know, like when I was Centre FM, it was just the Midlands. You couldn't
and if it's on the internet, everyone's gonna
went around the world. So I did that for a couple of years with him, and then I fell out with him because he wouldn't pay me at one point. And then I just finished.
Yeah.
And then years have gone by, and then a mate of mine, Simon Sue, otherwise known as Rob Boca, was on Radio Tamil, which was trying to launch. So I thought, I want a bit of that. So I went down and asked if we could go on it. And, 2 years ago now, and they said, yeah, come along, give it a try, see if you like it. And I'm on there now. So
it's a Sunday, isn't it?
Sunday show, yeah. It's a one-off kind of show. It's kind of fast-paced, whereas the rest of the station is kind of a proper radio station, requests and stories and local news and events sort of thing. Mine's a specialist show, which I call it Cool to Dance. And the reason I called it that was like, I said, well, what sort of music do I want to play? And I was thinking, well, I want to play music that everybody danced to, that when it was cool to dance and everybody danced, that's what I want to play. And so you're talking about the Northern Soul era.
Yeah.
Sam and the Motown. And involved with that as well, ska was there. And then from ska came two-tone later, you know, in the 80s. But then reggae as well, you know, going way. And then they incorporate my funk as well. So I'll start off with a northern, and then it's requests. So but what I try and do in 2 hours is get as much quality tunes in as I can.
That's it. That's what we want to listen to, isn't it? Just the music.
I don't really want to go down the road of, today the post office was robbed and I just want to cut that, especially with coronavirus at the moment as well.
People just want to hear the music.
For 2 hours, just listen to some great music and even have a dancing house and barbecue, whatever. It's kind of took off. So
what time is that on then? It's at 6 o'clock, is it?
Yeah, 6 till 8 on Sundays.
It's a good time as well on a Sunday.
Yeah, because it's boring. You know, nothing to do. Nothing on TV. You know, so just get on. And I get a lot of response from people that love Northern Soul because it's a big thing at the moment. It has been for the last year or two. And I do actually dig deep and find some old rare records, as well as make lots of popular stuff that people know. And I get that crowd, you know. And then just recently as well, the people that love ska as well. There's people on the internet at the moment in their bedrooms with their cameras on playing ska music on turntables at the moment. Well, I'll play that because from my brother, I know all the tunes. I know a lot of the kind of ska tunes. I get a lot of response from that.
Oh, that's
and
good.
then, yeah, so it's going quite well. I quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's a good release, especially what's going on at the moment. But,
Yeah,
I think all my life I've kind of done martial arts, music, and then a daytime job.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's good. It's exciting though. It's good to hear what you've been doing. Like I once wanted to be a DJ. I brought some decks, but I just couldn't get to grips with it. So
yeah, you wouldn't believe it, but I'm quite an introverted kind of guy. I'm quite quiet, introverted. But to get up there on the mic and speak was a bit different when I first did it, and I couldn't stand the sound of my own voice.
Yeah.
Then you adapt, and then you get some good nights. It's good. But I did too many weddings and I couldn't do that anymore. You know.
Radio show's good though. It's good. You get to just play music. There's no face. You can't see the face. And you get good response as well.
Yeah, I get a lot of people on Facebook when I'm on there. And I've got my own web page, which is Cool to Dance. People come on there and ask for requests.
Yeah.
Facebook, you get a lot of requests on Facebook. And then they email into the studio as well. And they can just send a message if they're on the website. And that goes all around the world as well. I had a guy from Africa who was he just found out about Northern Soul on Sunday, and he listened into my show. He found out, I talked to him on Friday, and I said, well, I do that. Listen in, and he listened in from Africa.
Wicked.
North Africa. Yeah, and I get people from all around the world. Oh, the best one is, what is it? The Filipino ska community.
Oh, nice.
So in the Philippines, ska music,
it's popular.
It's so popular. You know, like the madness kind of, that kind of thing. They go mad. So this guy contacted me from there. He says, I've heard about this. He said, yeah, I'll play it on my show. So they tune in from the Philippines.
No way. Yeah, you should go down there and show your face and they'll love you. You'll be a hero.
Yeah, but I like the interaction. It's good. Yeah. You've got to have a hobby in life.
Definitely. I love it. Yeah, let's we'll wrap it up there. We'll tell people to make sure it's still going now, isn't it, on a Sunday, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6 till 8 every Sunday on 106.8 FM on Radio Tamworth. Or if you want to get it on the internet, it's radiotamworth.com.
There you go, Cool to Dance. And hopefully when all this is over, we'll be back in the Dojang.
I can't wait, to be honest. With the running thing that I've just done, I'm just starting to build a bit of fitness now, and hopefully I'll sit down a bit and come back a different character when we come back and train. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to meeting up with the guys and having new people come along now as well. Yeah. And the other thing is I'm going to be touring a little bit now. I've got a guy that I used to train karate years ago. He made it. Oh, I got him to black belts, and he's gone off now down to Taunton, Somerset, and he's opened his own club down there. But he's like gone big time. He's involved with all the schools and everything.
Oh, nice.
And it's called Big Elite. Craig, his name is. I'm going to go down there and do a seminar. Yeah. So I'm going to start getting out and showing my wares more now, where I've been a bit closed door. I'm going to start doing a bit more and go to the Aikido people as well. Yeah. And there's a Japanese association over Kingsbury Way, which I'm going to try and get involved with to try and show my art, showcase the art.
Yeah, definitely. People need to know a lot more.
Yeah, it's not like any other martial art. No. Not like any of them. Yeah.
It's not. That's what people should do. So, like, when this is all back, was it on Wednesday?
Wednesday nights, and Wednesday. It's 6 till 8. But we do go over sometimes. Yeah,
but that's good. That's what it's about.
Yeah, sometimes you get so obsessed with what you're doing, time just flies. So so 6 till 8 on Wednesdays, and it's at Glasgow Methodist Church. They're just off the Glasgow Road to Blythe Street, I think it is, or something like that.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. And just one more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on my podcast, PodJack95. Been with Dean. It's been a pleasure, mate. There's amazing stories there.
I'm going to do that. This is my first podcast, and hopefully it won't be my last. So,
definitely not. Thank you very much, mate.
Look forward to seeing you and Matt, if ever you
we'll be there. I'm going to try and bring some more people with me.
Yes, definitely do. More the merrier. Okay.
Thank you very much. See you later, mate.
Take care.